Okay. Evan Carmichael, YouTuber and author. He has a subscriber over 9,000! 900 plus 40 subscribers, including me. It's morphin' time! Okay. So anyway, can we how you doing, Evan?
I'm great, man. I love that energy. I've never been power morphed on an intro before. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. Because you inspired me, actually, because I read your book and I realized your book has a theme around it. You said one word, right? And then I was like, yo, because my whole life it's all about like imagining things, because society suppressed that out of you. Anyway, I would like you to introduce to the audience, please, of who you are.
Sure. Evan Carmichael. I believe in entrepreneurs. I have a popular YouTube channel that has over 900,000 subscribers. Power morph. And yeah, I love helping entrepreneurs, man. I think entrepreneurs are going to solve all the world's major problems. I'm just trying to do my part. Had my first book out, Your One Word. That was my first entry into being an author. Next book coming out around the top 10 rules of success. And just trying to do my part to help the world be a better place.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I actually like the cover. It's so beautiful. You should do it. And I know you saw it too. Okay, so I would like to get around, before we get into the your whole book thing, I would like to get around about education and what you think about education, because when I was a little kid, I was put in placed in special education, and they said I had a learning disability. And then I was listening to I know that you're really huge on Gary Vee, and I know you watch his stuff, and I was listening. He was interviewed by Larry King, and then Gary Vee say that that school is failing entrepreneurship, but also isn't also it's failing the average person. What do you think about that?
So I think in terms of learning, I think we get a lot of our values from our parents and our upbringing and our surroundings, whoever we're around. I think school teaches us some of the skills that we need. I think it depends on what you want to go off and do. I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, it's really hard to teach that in school. I think so much of being an entrepreneur is practical, actually going out and doing it. And then you need to learn, if you want to make a YouTube video, you want to have a YouTube channel, there's learnings that you need to do around it. Right? Like you got to learn how to edit. You got to learn how to, what camera to buy and what all the gear and how to speak and what your intro is going to be, which you can pick up. You can pick it up on your own. It's hard to go to a school and have a how to be a YouTuber class and be successful there. I think too, a lot of the practical skills are evolving so quickly that the teachers don't know it. Like if you want to learn about online marketing, chances are your high school teacher is not going to be able to give you a lot of great advice unless they're actually doing something themselves. The curriculum's not adjusting fast enough. But for other things like learning English, it's pretty helpful. If you're learning history, it can be helpful. I think it depends on what career you want to go into. I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, the biggest benefit of going to school is probably the connections that you can form with classmates, other students, social connection, the discipline of just showing up every day and doing work and going home and doing homework and continue to work. But in terms of the actual practical knowledge, I don't think there's that much in school that really helps you to prepare to be an entrepreneur. If you want to do something else, it could be really helpful, but to start your own business, there's not a lot of practical knowledge there.
Right. I totally agree with what you're saying. I've been trying to inspire people who are in the special education, because people thought, people like me, I was like, whoa, I was introduced, I seen it yesterday, you were doing your personal development and Tony Robbins stuff. And I was like, we were never taught the skill to communicate, to be able to actually socialize or, selling, marketing, the important stuff in life. And yeah, I totally agree with it. Thank you so much. Why did you write that book, Your One Word?
So I think everybody, yeah.
Yeah, what's your message you're trying to convey to the reader? Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I think everybody, if you're a human being, you have core values. You have something that you really makes you different than somebody else, right? Like what you find most important to the world is going to be different than other people. And I think when you understand what is really important and meaningful to you, then you can go and build a life that you want and build a business for the entrepreneurs out there too. So if you're, if you're about imagination as an example, I see the creative art behind you, the anime, and your fun intro that I haven't seen before on YouTube channels, right? Like if you go all in on imagination as an example, then it just allows you to be more free. It reduces the chains that people may put on you to say, well, Johnny, we expect you to be like this. And it's like, well, no, I don't want to do that. I know what I'm about. And a lot of people, they don't know what they're about. And so when they say, Johnny, you need to go do this, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I need to go do that because my parents think I should, or because my school teacher thinks I should, or because my culture thinks I should, or whatever it is. And so you end up making all these decisions in your life based off what other people want for you, instead of actually just knowing what you want for yourself. I don't think enough people know what they want for themselves. And so they don't go off and do anything about it. And so that's what the book tries to uncover. Figure out the one thing that you stand for so that you can go off and live a life that is with meaning, with purpose. And for the people who want to become entrepreneurs as well, there's a guideline on how to apply your one word to your business.
Right. Thank you so much for it. Can you tell your stories of struggles and the fears that you had? Because, so many of the people that I want to inspire, because I interview Bob Doyle from Hit Movies, The Secret. He has fear. And I want to be able to uplift them to be able to, I'm all about the law of attraction, but the problem with I see a lot with the law of attraction community. They learn this stuff, but they don't take action. How do you have fears and struggles? Can you tell the story, please?
Yeah, I think anything great in life is going to come on the other side of fear. If you're only doing things that you're not afraid of at all, you're not doing anything great. If you think about the best things that you've done in life, things that you're most proud of, it came with a healthy dose of fear. Like you were afraid to do something, and then whether it worked out or whether it didn't, like you took the step and you can be proud of that. And so anytime that you want to, if you want to live a meaningful life, you want to be happy, it's going to come with having fear. And I don't think you can eliminate fear. I don't think it's actually healthy. I don't think you should be off saying, well, I have no fear. Like, no, like this fear, I recognize that I'm going to be afraid to do it, and I'm going to do it anyway because I want to reach the other side. So for me, in my first business, I was 19 years old. I turned down a huge job to start this company. I was making $300 a month. Wasn't feeding myself properly, and all just not a fantastic life. But I wanted to see this business succeed, and for me, it was really the fear of regret. I could deal with the business not working and me having to go back and get a job. I couldn't deal with me getting a job and then not knowing what happened with that business. Like, what if I just stayed there? What if I tried that? What if I said yes? What if I didn't want to live with an entire lifetime of regret? And so I used the fear of regret to motivate me to go and do the thing that I was afraid of doing, because I didn't know if it would. Nobody in my family was an entrepreneur. I wasn't really an entrepreneur. I had no business background. I had no education. All the things were, against me on paper. But I just made the future fear bigger than the current fear. And that motivated me to go off and try it. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of. Like what I did in my first business stood on the other side of that fear. My fear to get going, my fear to say no to that big job, my fear of my friends judging me for failing. I succeeded, and that is one of the highlights, right? Any major thing that you're going to do in your life, the things that you will be the most proud of and want to tell your grandkids about is going to come after you conquer some fear.
Yes, and thank you so much for that you move towards your fear, because I realized that you have make a lot of impact helping either entrepreneurs. Then you said what surprised me about you is you have this amazing customer service. Not a lot of people are like you, because I've seen it. I check every single video that people either do book reviews or any interview. You like engage, but not a lot of people engage, and that's what I like about you. You make them feel that you care about them. Not many authors are like you, but what stand out is I watched one of your video a long time ago, and it was on Michelle Fern. She was Vietnamese, and that's inspired me to be able to do what I do, because I want to inspire people. I would like to ask, what is course selling, and how can we use it in our business?
So course selling comes from the idea of when you figure out what your one word is, what you stand for, then you bring that to your business and the sales process. Where at the beginning, when people are selling their products or service or videos or whatever they're selling, usually they're selling the features. You know, if you're selling coffee, you're talking about how much the coffee costs. You then get the benefits. So instead of it just being green tea or just being coffee, you talk about the health benefits, why this is going to be good for you, right? So I'm not just buying tea now, I'm buying whatever the health benefits of green tea are. So that's how most of the world sells. The layer that is above it, the course selling that people really gravitate towards when they see it is, I believe in the mission of your company. Like much beyond just one product that you're selling, I love what you're doing. So for you, if you're making videos, you know, it doesn't matter one particular video that you have in the channel, it's the entire channel. It's like, I want to inspire people. I want people to unleash their imagination and creativity. That's why I do what I do. And if people can feel connected to that, then they'll watch your videos. You know, you might have, anime on your channel. And as an example, and like maybe I don't care about anime, but I care about unleashing my creativity. So I might watch it just because I want to unleash my creativity, and you're going to tell a story. Like there's tons of stories in anime about unleashing your creativity and being yourself and not only listen to the people around you. And so if people can understand the why of what you're doing, people can understand what your business stands for, like why is this so meaningful and important to you? And I think as entrepreneurs, we have an advantage because we have a deep passion for what we're doing. We started this business. Like you started this for a reason. You know, you want to help people who have special ed growing up feel confident and allow them to go off and do amazing things. Somebody who works at a big giant corporation, you know, I don't know how much they really love going to their job and really feel like they stand for something. You know, what does Esso stand for, ExxonMobil, or like these big companies? What do they stand for? That you feel proud going to work, you know? So that's the advantage you have as an entrepreneur, is what you stand for. The reason why you built this thing, the reason why you get up and do what you do every day will attract people who feel the same way. So your thing may be imagination, or what's your one word? Did you figure it out?
Yeah. My one word is fantasy, because
fantasy.
Because fantasy, my whole life, because I still do it today. I fantasize, I travel, like I can see it, I can picture it, and I can project it out. You know, sometimes I do it, you know, it doesn't matter if people think I'm crazy or not. I do it because I don't want that society or people telling me that I'm crazy, because I get to project, you know, my reality. Like for instance, I can imagine and I can see a whole person. I can like travel to the future, or the future to the present, and I get to be a hero, because we are in essence a director, a movie. We get to direct our life. But the problem is people are not they're not expressing themselves, because you know they suppress who they are, and I don't want that. You know, you can't, if you think about it, you have a dream, and everybody has a dream. A dream you cannot contain, right? A fantasy you cannot contain it. So it's like, for instance, people say sky's the limit, but then I have to think about it. The sky is the limit, that means a cap. But you have to think about bigger. No, the universe is the limit, but the universe has no limit, right? So that's why that's why.
So fantasy is great. Actually, one of the people in the book, there's a page on a woman, Jennifer, whose one word is fantasy as well. Listen, some people are going to look at that and say that's stupid. Fantasy is stupid. You know, you need to be safe and practical and get a real job and whatever. And that's fine. Like my one word is believe. Not everybody likes that. Some people think believe is stupid. It's great. Like it's not that they're wrong, right? But it's not like that they're wrong and you're right. It's just you guys aren't, you know, you don't vibe. It's great. Like if they can eliminate themselves, that's perfect. And you don't even have to be around people who don't appreciate what you're doing. And on the positive side, when you come out and you're talking about fantasy and what it means and how it applies to people's lives, you're going to attract people who believe the same thing you believe. You're going to attract kids who are growing up who also love the idea of fantasy, but nobody supports their idea. Their parents are telling them, stop drawing those cartoons. You're never going to make a career after that. Go be a doctor or something, right? And they really want to do something else. They know that they just think differently. They have a different belief system. And most people don't have the confidence or courage to break out of that structure and go do their own thing. And so watching your content, watching your videos, watching your interviews, watching what you put out could be the difference that inspires the next generation to say, huh, Johnny's doing it, I can do it too, right? And then they don't have to feel restricted by whatever is currently holding them back. And so that's the idea. I think once you find your one word, it's great. It allows you to build a life with more purpose. But I think then it's also your responsibility to spread it more in the world to help the people who also feel the same way, but just might need a little bit of encouragement. So for me, it's believe. All of my videos are about believe in some way. It's always a positive message. It's never hating on somebody or saying that this person's stupid and why. You know, we have 900,000 something subscribers. I could be way bigger if I wanted to. If I was making the 10 stupidest things that this person ever said instead of their rules for success, we would get more views. That's just not the world that I want to create. I want to be proud of the work that I'm doing, and I want to spread more of belief. I want people to believe in themselves and their ideas more. And so that's what I try to do through everything that I make. You know, I want my grandkids to watch this interview and be inspired to want to do more, right? And so I think if you take that approach of, if it's fantasy for you or whatever the one word is for the people watching, to think, okay, I'm making a video. How do I inspire people to live their fantasy? And that fantasy is cool and it's okay and it's awesome and it's not something to be to hide away that nobody can see it. Like, you should be proud of this and express it. I think that's it's an important responsibility.
Right. Thank you so much. Because that's why I wanted to, because in my videos, I wanted to make it interesting and fun. That's why when I do the intro of the Morphin Town, I want to make it fun, because I used to do that when, because nobody did that before, like you said. Now, this is one problem that I've been trying to solve for, it hurt, actually, you know, it kind of hurt my feelings. But anyway, I'm going to go out, like, because I remember I was listening to a talk about, you know, Jeff Bezos, you know, building Amazon. He's all focused on the, you know, customer service, like you are. You're great with customer service. So I had, I'm not going to name name, but I had one of the people that I want to interview, right? And I asked, you know, I'm usually a nice person, and I will support you like I will support you in your vision, and I will support your dream, right? And I will go for it. But what happened is I ask, and I understand that they're busy. And I asked 1 and 2 times, the person didn't get back on the customer service, and then that person blocked me, and they were a best-selling author and CEO. Was that the right thing to do?
So listen, I wouldn't get tied up. I wouldn't put your own emotional value, like how you value yourself, based on what other people think of you. You're going to get rejected a ton in business. It happens. Like a video you put out, people won't like it. It's going to happen. Every video I put out, there's always somebody who doesn't like the video. You're going to reach out to people, and at the beginning, most people will say no, or they won't even reply. Don't take it personally. You know, there's a great quote by Quincy Jones who said, "Not 1 ounce of my self-worth comes from what you think about me." So just because they didn't think enough about you to want to do an interview, like maybe they didn't have the time, maybe they just get too many requests, maybe they're, you know, maybe they're just a douchebag, like, you know, maybe that's just who they are. Don't let that get you down. You don't want to give, because then you give your power over to somebody else. Like, nobody else has the power to make you feel bad except you. And so rejection comes with any business. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn. You're going to fail. People will, like, not responding is not even the worst of it. Like, you'll have people say, they'll call you names and they'll yell at you and they'll leave really nasty comments, and, you know, and it's nothing to do with you. It's their own problem. Like when a hater comes on my channel and they're hating on a video, and we put up, like, we have a Dalai Lama video and this guy like start raging. Like, how do you hate the Dalai Lama? I don't know. Like, you know, the guy's just trying to spread a peaceful message. But anyway, like, the people who, imagine how bad their life has to be to leave that kind of negative comment, right? And just because somebody's had success and you know, they're not writing back, just because they've had success doesn't mean that they're they're happy. Just because they've sold 1 million books doesn't mean that, you know, they're a good person and they're happy with their life. And so I try not to let those things, at the beginning, it really hurt me a lot when I got a negative comment or somebody didn't write back to me. And I think that holds a lot of people back, and that you stop, right? Like, oh, I sent out requests to 50 authors and nobody got back to me. And the ones who did said no. Okay, I guess that's the end. I'm done now. I can't do it. Right? Like, a lot of people will quit there, and a lot of people will quit before 50. A lot of people will quit after 1. They send 1 email, it doesn't work, and so they stop.
Oh,
right?
well, before that, actually, I kind of, I'm not that, because I actually read Grant Cardone and stuff. I'm actually pretty persistent. It's just that, because I tweet a lot, I get a lot of no's, but I'm not afraid, actually, the rejection anymore. It's just I'm used to it, because I know that's they're busy. And, you know, you know, it's not a no forever. That's how I know I figured it out. But
sure.
Thank you. Yeah.
But don't let that hurt you. Don't let that, like, great, it's no, and I'm going to persist, and that's a positive. Like, you're turning it into a positive. It's not a no. You know, it's not a no forever. At some point, I'm going to get a yes. Whether you want to turn it into a challenge, like, you know what, like, that guy, you know, so you like Grant. You know, I'm going to get Grant on my show, and, you know, one day I'm going to get Grant, and you keep hammering away until you get Grant. But just because, like, Grant may never write back to you. You know, maybe he just doesn't want to do it. Don't let that personally offend you, because that sucks your energy away from doing something positive. You know, if you and Grant don't connect, it's fine. Like, you can move on to the next thing. As soon as you give your power over to somebody else, that they control whether you're happy or not happy, that's when you start to lose. Right? So don't blame them. Right? Like, who cares? Like, they said no, it's just fine. You know, don't get angry. It's just part of the game. You know, don't take it personally. Don't feel like you're nothing now because Grant Cardone didn't write back to you, or maybe he did. I don't know. Right?
Yeah,
like,
he did.
Right, and Grant's a pretty active guy too, and pretty responsive, and loves working with his fans too. He's been on my show. We've done a number of videos on him.
Oh yeah, I see that interview. I see it. It's great.
Yeah, and some people won't. Some people don't believe in customer service. Some people don't believe in responding to the comments. Some people don't believe in that, and that's fine. It's not. This is my style of doing business. This is what I like to do. I like to be on interviews. I like to have comments responded to. I like it. It doesn't mean that those other people are wrong. And if I leave a comment, like, if I leave a comment on somebody else's channel, if it was me, I would expect a reply. Like, if you comment on my channel, we try to get to everybody. Everybody who replies, we get hundreds of comments a day. We try to get to everybody. But there's been some channels where I left a comment on, and they have like 100 subscribers, and they never replied to me on my comment. And I just feel bad for them. Like, this is, if you want to grow your channel, if it's important to you, you want to pay attention to what your fans are saying, especially at the beginning when you don't have a lot of fans. You're trying to build it up. It's a great way to do it. I don't take offense. I don't feel like, oh, Jimmy, you know, that guy just snubbed me. I'm pissed off because he didn't respond to my comment, right? You just move on. So, because if I then spend the rest of my day upset that Jimmy didn't reply to my comment, how productive am I going to be that day? You know, like, I'm thinking of something else. If I'm talking to you, meanwhile I'm pissed off at Jimmy, this isn't going to be a great interview. And so you want to, and like, Jimmy doesn't even care about me. And so I've allowed Jimmy to take away all of my positivity and my energy for the day, and maybe for longer, right? And so you got to be really careful about managing your energy and not letting other people take it away from you. And I just do that by feeling bad for them. I just try to imagine, like, what kind of life they have to be living, and how sad it must be to not show like human level of decency. And that usually helps solve the problem instead of thinking about it for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I was actually thinking about how you view winning, or is there any methodology you go by for like your winning or success?
That's a great question. I think winning for me is constantly the daily in and out of what I'm doing. You know, winning is constantly pushing against the fear and doing something about it. I think people get caught up on winning as you need to reach a certain goal, right? You need to have 1 million subscribers, or you need to have, you know, X amount of revenue, whatever the numeric goal is. And I think goals are important. I think goals can help drive you, and goals can help, make you move faster, especially when you have a timeline attached to it. But if winning only means like accomplishing that feat, that hitting that goal, then it's pretty hollow. Like, I want to hit 1 million subscribers. That's my goal for the end of this year. So far we're on track. We'll see how we do. There's a lot of ways I could hit 1 million subscribers, right? Like, if I put out those hate videos, I could hit it in the next week if I wanted to. It just doesn't interest me. Like, I want to hit 1 million. That's great. It's a good goal. And then when I hit it, I'm going to just set another goal, but it's the daily work that I'm excited by. Like, people want to have a big party at 1 million, right? Like, what are you going to do when you hit 1 million? It's like, I don't care about a party. Zero care. Like, I'm writing a new book, my Top 10 Rules to Success, the book, and I gave it to 30 people, and I just got all the review copies back, and they're like, when are you going to do a launch party? It's like, I didn't even think about that. Like, I don't need to celebrate that. But it's also a blind spot for me because it's good for them. Like, celebrating 1 million is good for my fans. It's good for my subscribers. They want it, right? And so I'll do it for them, but I have no interest in it for me. Like, I hit 1 million, great, good. Guys, let's go. We got to do more. Let's go. Keep inspiring. Let's keep helping more entrepreneurs. Get back on the grind. Like, every day I want to get in and do more work. So I think most people are the opposite. I think most people are just shooting for a goal, and they never hit the goal because they don't actually enjoy the work. Like, you got to enjoy the work. You could want to build a YouTube channel and want to interview people, and if Grant's on your list and Gary Vee or whoever else is, in your ideal world, people to interview. If you don't actually like doing interviews, it's not going to work. Like, you'll just get crushed. There's too many people who love doing interviews. And so if you're trying to do something that you don't love just because you're trying to hit some goal, you're never going to win. You will always get crushed by the people who love doing it. And so much better is to go in on the thing that you love doing. Even looking at how you did the intro for this, right? You're about fantasy. You freak out and like morph and all that stuff is great. I love it. I'm entertained. This is awesome. I'm feeling it. Even sets up your guests for, this is a totally different kind of interview that's about to come. If you looked at Larry King, who's a great interviewer, like one of the greatest of all time, and you tried to do the intro like Larry King does the intro, it wouldn't work. You'd be like a fake Larry King Jr. who's really boring. Like, it just wouldn't work for you. You'd have to, maybe at the beginning, just to copy and see and try things out, but you have to evolve to find your own thing. So you're the guy who injects a lot of creativity and fantasy into his intros. That's great. And that carries through for everything that you end up doing. And that's how you win. By continuing to experiment and dive into what makes you unique, and not just trying to be different than Larry King, but doing the thing that makes you come alive and you have fun with. If you're having fun and you're loving doing it, it's not always going to work out, but if you keep on doing that consistently, it will work out. Where if you are only shooting for a goal and you'll say you'll do whatever it takes, but you don't enjoy the work, you're never going to build anything big. Just the people who love it will crush you. And so you want to be the one who loves it so that you can go and have success.
Wow, that's very amazing. What advice that you can give to a young and inspiring entrepreneur to be able to navigate building a business and becoming successful at it?
I think the most important thing is that you have to do the thing that you're excited by. I think just to the last point, you got to do the thing that you love. The most important thing, if I look at all the people that I've covered and all the famous entrepreneurs we profiled, follow your passion, love what you do is consistently the most common thing that pops up. And so you have to find the thing that you love, even if you don't know how you're going to make money at it yet. A lot of people start the other way. They look for a way to make money and then they do something that they don't love. And you can make a little bit of money, but you're never going to have a big impact. You're never going to do anything really solid. So you have to love what you do. 2, I would model success. I would find people that you look up to. If you look behind me, I have pictures on the wall. You know some of them, you don't know some of them. These are people that inspire me. These are people I surround myself with. My YouTube channel, I surround myself with successful people on a daily basis to help me become a still better version of me. I'm not done growing yet, right? I haven't learned everything there is to learn yet. I'm still trying to push to be better. And so the environment matters. So if you're in a crappy environment, if your parents are just telling you can't do anything and your school sucks and you just everything around you is negative, you need to create a new environment. Don't just complain that your environment sucks right now. You start to create a new environment. You start, like, whatever fantasy means to you, whatever makes you feel like fantasy comes alive for you, put that in your environment. Like, you've got your stuff on the wall, right? Like,
it's because I watched your interview. That's why it inspired me. I was like, because I remember it was all blank, right? Until I watched your interview, because you were talking about Steve Jobs, and I was listening to your interview with Dan Pena and stuff like that, and I was like, you know what? I got to put my anime again to be able to remind me about creating creative videos. And I was like, oh, wow. But
yeah, you got the anime there. You've got like notes on the other side, right? It's like the environment matters. If you walk into that room, like a lot of people walk in and it won't mean anything. Like, oh, some nice anime. But for you, you look at it like, man, that makes me want to go off and do more. That's the whole point. Like, people look at this and maybe like Steve Jobs, they know. The other ones doesn't mean anything to you. But to me, I walk in and it means something. And that's the important part. You do the thing that gets you inspired on a daily basis to go out and want to do something. So it's the physical environment. It's what you consume, like what books you're reading, what movies you're watching, what YouTube videos you're paying attention to, how you're spending your time. Are you constantly just taking in information? You either are taking in things that allow you to escape a life that you don't like, or allow you to go off and build a life that you want to build. And most people would just rather escape. Most people would watch. It's why celebrity news is so fun to watch. It's why when you see somebody fail, it's like we love watching that kind of stuff because it makes us feel better about our own life. And we're just escaping. It's why people want to go off on vacations all the time. It's because they're running away from a life that they don't like. That's what we tend to do all the time. Where instead you want to try to run towards something, right? Like if you were on vacation 24/7, you'd get bored. Like you wouldn't want to stay on vacation forever. You just feel like you would because your life sucks right now and you're running away from it. So go try to make it better. Instead of watching, Big Brother 15 or whatever it is coming out next, like watch a video of your hero. Like whoever the biggest anime guy is, watch his interview, learn his story, read his biography. Like fill your head with things that make you move forward instead of just escaping from a life that you don't like.
Right.
And so for people who are getting started, young entrepreneurs, surround yourself with that kind of success on a daily basis, whether it's videos, whether it's books, whether it's pictures, like whatever the thing is that you get, there's no judgment, right? Like whatever you love doing, if drawing anime for 20 minutes every morning makes you feel alive, great, like go do that, right? Like that would do nothing for me, right? Like drawing doesn't do anything for me, but it doesn't matter what it does for me. It matters what it does for you. If drawing anime every morning makes you feel like a hero ready to take on the day, that's how you want to start your day, not just some random Thursday where maybe you draw in the afternoon, right? And so whatever the thing is that makes people come alive and get excited and feel bold and courageous and unstoppable, put that into your daily routine somehow to give you the consistent motivation to keep driving forward.
Okay, thank you so much. What does success look like to you?
I think it's doing the things that you want to be doing and just feeling, at least for me, it's also having an impact. Like I want to do the work that I love doing, which for me is helping entrepreneurs, and how I do it changes. Right now it's mostly through YouTube videos and books, and then feeling like it's having an impact, like it's fulfilling to me to help, but knowing that I could do more and help on a bigger scale drives me to want to go off and do more on a bigger scale. So doing the thing you love and having an impact.
Right. Thank you so much. And before you were really on YouTube, most people would say they care more about the views, but I actually study a little bit more about on YouTube. I'm not great at it. The algorithm. People shouldn't care about the views, right? But they should care about how their videos is and about watch time, because watch time matters.
Yeah, from an algorithm perspective, watch time is the most important thing that they care about. I would say in starting any business, including YouTube, you need to combine the thing that you love with what there's a demand for. So, if you love drawing your anime, as an example, but nobody wants to see it, then you have a hobby until you get to the point where it's good enough that people want to see it. Like whoever the best anime person is in the world, if he or she sat down and was making a video of him or her like drawing out the anime, people would tune in to watch that because they're the best, right? People watching a beginner, nobody's going to care because they're not good enough yet, right? And so you need to build up that skill so that it becomes not just a hobby, it becomes something more. But at the beginning, it's just a hobby. If there's no demand for it and you love it, it's just a hobby. If there's lots of demand for it, but you don't love it, you don't really have a successful business, right? If there's tons of demand, like if there's tons of demand for anime, and I look at that and say, I need to get into anime, I'm going to suck. Like I'm going to get crushed. I suck at anime. I can't draw for my life. I'm going to lose. So if you're only looking at opportunity and you don't love it, you're going to fail. Just like, don't even try it. Where you win is when that you have both. You have the thing that you love and there's a demand for it. So I love helping entrepreneurs. I love mashing up videos. I love connecting with people who are trying to build something, and there's a demand for it. But a lot of my series haven't worked. Like we failed more series than most people try. Like we've launched it, didn't get a good response. I loved it. So I can either keep it as a hobby or I can find a replacement series. Everything I make, I love. Like, you know, you love all the characters you've drawn. Somebody might want to buy one of those, but they may not want to buy the next one. You know, if you're drawing only the ones that nobody wants to buy, you're not going to have a business. You're just going to have a hobby. And so it's that combination, understanding what people want and doing the thing that you love. And so YouTube, you know, you want to make videos that you love and you're passionate about, and videos that people want to consume. You need the both if you want to have a business.
Oh, okay. Before we get this done, I would like to say, what start you making the top 10 for success or rule for success? What's that? Because I know that you have your new book coming out. Go ahead. What made you start doing that?
The start was well, one, the desire to help entrepreneurs and have better content. You know, I was always looking for more content to be able to share on my channel. But the real start came when a friend of mine made a blog post about Kanye West and was, you know, attacking him for something stupid that he said. And I just kind of got a little upset about it because I felt like Kanye says a lot of weird things and is, you know, says a lot of wrong things sometimes. But there's also a great side to him that most people don't see because he's so crazy on the crazy side. You know, he won more Grammy Awards than anybody else at his age ever. And he went from moving to just making beats to being a successful rapper to being a successful entrepreneur. And he's done a lot of great things. Just most people don't recognize it because his craziness sometimes outweighs it. And so here was my friend making his blog post, and I said, you know what? People only see the negative side of Kanye. I want to make a video about the positive side. To make a 10 stupidest things Kanye's ever said would be an easy video. But to make a 10 solid, you know, rules for success video, that'd be a fun challenge to take on. And so I made the video mostly because I wanted to show my friend and say, hey, like, everything you're saying is still true, but here's just another perspective. Like, don't judge somebody and say they're all bad. There's some greatness here as well that I hope you will appreciate. And that video did well, and people started asking, hey, can you do this person? Can you do this person? Can you do this person? And so we started doing more. And it started off as one a week. And I thought, okay, one a week, it's 52 people a year. Okay, there's probably 52 people a year that we could make something on. Like, this is enough. I think it's fine. And then we did it twice a week. It's like 100 people a year. Oh, I don't know. Are there 100 different people a year that we can do a video on? That's tough. And then it worked. And then we had this list of 2,000 requests that people kept requesting. Like, can you do this person, this person, this person? And people I'd never heard of. You know, I live in Canada. I'm a very North American centric. So I'm not as tapped into Indian entrepreneurs and British entrepreneurs and all these people. And so people were asking me, hey, can you do whoever, this, you know, APJ Abdul Kalam? It's like, I've never heard of this guy. Let me look him up. It's like, huh, this guy's interesting. He's got some good points, right? Like, huh, yeah, we could do him. And so we made it now as like every weekday, there's a new top 10 rules. So it started off as a one-off idea, and people liked it, and it developed into a series. And I think that's an important message too, in that sometimes you have a big vision for a big project you want to create, and sometimes it just starts with a seed, and just do it. Just see how it goes. See how you feel. See people respond to it. You know, and if it felt right, you want to go back and do it again, do it again. And if you tried it and it doesn't work, then you can move on and try something else. I think too often we eliminate ourselves from doing things because we think we've figured it out in our head, but we haven't actually tried it, and you don't know until you actually go and try it if it's going to work.
Right. So it's about being able to adapt and change, right? As an entrepreneur. What would I know that, you know, a lot of people, you know, bash me on reading books, but you know, I'm more flexible with how I consume content. I consume your content by video, or I can do audio, I can do books. I'm more flexible. Most people aren't flexible. What I say is, it's not about the book. I know that people hate reading books because, you know, they were required and they were forced to read. But I say it's about the ideas and content that can be able to change your life. So what book would you recommend any entrepreneurs or any young person or anybody who's starting?
That's an interesting question. I just finished reading Unlimited Power again by Tony Robbins. It's a good book.
Oh yeah, Tony Robbins. Woo!
Tony Robbins is good. You know, 4 Hour Work Week is another great one, in terms of just being able to delegate and using your time effectively. I think it really just depends on their style. For me, I usually read every night a little bit before going to bed. Not every single night, but I try to. I'm a visual learner. So I love video the most because it allows me there's the most visual stuff happening. I love reading second because, again, it's visual. I can see the words. Where audio is the worst for me. Like podcasts, I couldn't name 5 podcasts. You know, like I learn nothing from them. It's really hard. I have to play it back again and again, just a learning style. It's awesome that you're flexible and can like learn from everything. For me, visual is way easier for me to pick up. And so it's partly why I made a YouTube channel instead of a podcast or instead of something else. So I think figuring out what your learning style is, I agree there might be some negativity towards books, just in that you're forced to read it. And, you know, you're doing it for school or for somebody else, but now you get to do it for yourself. You know, you want to dedicate yourself to learning. Learning is a part of any success. You want to go off and build something amazing, you're going to have to constantly learn, like forever. The learning never stops. Learning forever and ever and ever. Learn to love learning. And then figure out what style works best for you, whether it's listening to something, whether it's watching a video, whether it's reading, and then make that part of your daily habits. So I miss out on a lot of content from podcasts, but I get it in other places.
Okay, thank you so much. Wait, you look up to Gary. Why you look up to him? That's what I'm curious about.
Why do I look up to who?
Gary V.
I don't know that I look up to Gary V. I think he's got a lot of, you know, I try to learn from everybody. You know, I think most of all, my parents, they taught me, believe, like all the values came from them. The most important people that I pulled important messages from are on my wall. And then everybody that I profiled on my channel, I've learned something from. So I've learned something from Gary V. I interviewed him on my channel. We've done videos on him. I've learned from Grant Cardone. He's been on my channel. We've done videos on him. I've learned from everybody that like, if I'm not learning from the person that we're putting up, I'm not putting it up. There's been lots of people who we didn't do a top 10 on because I didn't learn anything from the content that we found. So I'm not going to put up that video. So it's there because I learned something. And I think the goal is always to be the best version of yourself, not the next whoever, right? It's not to be the next Steve Jobs, to be the best you. And so to do that, you can pull from different pieces. You know, like I could pull something from Steve Jobs, and I can pull something from Gary Vee, and pull something from Kanye, and pull something from Grant. You may not like everything about Grant. That's okay. You know, like you may not want to move to Miami. That's fine. Like you don't have to. You can do that. Take the piece that you love from Grant. Like maybe you love Grant's confidence, right? So that's what you pull from Grant, and you don't pull the rest, right? And from Steve Jobs, you love his vision. But, you know, maybe he wasn't the best parent. So maybe you don't want to pull the parenting side from him, right? And so I think just like the Kanye example, we'll tend to lump somebody into a group. And there's good things, good and bad about everybody. It's just being able to look at anybody and say, here's what I can learn from them. And even if everything else does not apply to my life, I've learned something from watching this person. You can learn from Kanye West. You can learn from the people that you hate. Like if you hate Donald Trump, you can still learn something from him. You can ignore a lot of the politics and a lot of the, there's a lot of negativity, a lot. And he got here for a reason. There's a lot you can learn from him as well, right? Is he perfect? No, but like your goal shouldn't be to be the next Donald Trump. It's to be the next you, the best you. And so you can learn something from him. You can learn something from Clinton to be better, right? You can learn something from all these people who've had success bigger than you. And we tend to write people off and say, well, that person, I'm never going to learn anything from. And as soon as you cut yourself off from learning from that person, you haven't done anything to them. You've only hurt yourself. You've only said, I'm only willing to learn inside this small little box, where what you want to do is be able to open it. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, that's what I've been trying to convey to the audience, because I listen to Ty, and he's like, yeah, why, just learn from everybody, even if you hate them, and you have to be more flexible. People hate Jeff Bezos or people hate Elon Musk. Why do you hate them? They've done great things that if you watch, Jeff Bezos is killing it with, building a business, and it's crazy. But where can we find you, Evan?
I'm on most of the social channels. I think people know me best from my YouTube channel. You can just look me up, Evan Carmichael. It'll show up. What's your favorite video, by the way, from the channel? You're a subscriber.
Wait. You mean if I'm subscribed to you, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite video?
It had to do with my Michelle Froon, because she had to do with John, and I'm Vietnamese actually. Yeah, I'm Vietnamese. And actually, and then I actually watched what was it? Donald Trump, since everybody don't like him, but he has great things to say, right? Like you said, everybody hate Donald Trump. I liked it, and I keep consuming your comments. Like, I realized you're a very open-minded person. So many people are close-minded, and I was like, wow, this guy is great. Like, I actually, for me, right now, I actually support you. Like, whatever you're doing, I support you like full on, because not many entrepreneur or author like you out in the world, and I'm grateful for you for that, to be able to do this interview, to be able to inspire millions, or that is that billions of entrepreneur that you're trying to reach. But yeah, go ahead.
I appreciate the love, man. Anyway, so YouTube is an easy place to find me. If you want to pick up the book, wherever you buy books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever. And then Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, I'm on. That's probably the best place for I love those, again, because I'm video, right? Like you can do video replies on Twitter and on Snapchat and on Instagram. So I can reply to people, even if it's, 5 seconds. Like somebody shares my video and says, man, this is the best video on Michelle Phan I've ever seen. And they tweet it. I'll see that and say like, hey, Johnny, man, really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Happy Thursday. Believe and send, right? It's like, takes, 8 seconds, but it means it has a big impact. And I try to do as much as I can. It's, it's not hitting every single person, but you can't do that on YouTube where it's all just typed out. So for the personal one-on-one replies, usually Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram are better.
Right.
Yeah, that's how to find me.
Wait, before that, actually, did you ever get Michelle Froon to reply back to you? Because I watched one of the video.
We were connected with her team. We were looking at doing a project together. It didn't work out. She left YouTube. Right? Like it's a sad story of kind of doing things for the audience as well and building it up, and then it became overwhelming for her, and she had so many business opportunities at once, and she took it all on and was an extremely hard worker, but then she felt overwhelmed and dropped everything and went to Italy or somewhere in Europe and just had to relax. And so we were looking at doing something on YouTube or building a network. But anyway, she's off to, I don't know what she's doing right now. I don't know if she's back on YouTube. I don't think she is, but she might be. So anyway, some of the people we profile, we get in contact with. Some of them write to us and say thank you. 50 Cent retweeted the video we made on him, and Floyd Mayweather shared the video we made on him. You know, I didn't know Floyd before we made the video. And some people just ignore it, right? It's like right at the beginning, you know, some people love it and some people never write back and some people ignore it. You know, I tweeted Barack Obama and saying, hey, we're making a video on you. Do you want to be a part of it? He didn't write back, you know, great. That's okay. Barack's a busy guy, you know, he's got other stuff happening too. That's fine. And I do that repeatedly. Like anybody we're doing a video on, I'll tweet them. And so it's usually, you know, 20 to 30 at a time. I'll tweet out, and most people don't reply at all. You know, that's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I think I know where you get that from. You got it from the 40-hour work week, didn't you?
In terms of the reaction to people, I don't know where that's from. I think it's consistent. Like if you watch the videos, if you watch any of my videos, you watch the lessons from all these people, it's just part of the process. Rejection is part of the process. If you can't get emotionally attached to somebody saying no or somebody telling you that your idea sucks. To see how many times people failed over and over and over and over again and kept at it, I feel like what I'm doing is nothing. Like for people who wrote a book, you know, J.K. Rowling writing Harry Potter, and it's like, or Tim Ferriss 4 Work Week, and they send it to publishers and like, no. And I know how much work goes into a book to then get it rejected. Like this is my life's work in here and you're saying that it's crap, right? Like, it's heartbreaking, and they kept going. Where me, like if you send out a tweet to say, hey, can I interview you, and you don't get a reply, and then make that some big personal thing, right? It's like, no, I just keep moving forward, Most people don't write back. It's okay. I don't blame them. I accept that's their style, their life, whatever. Just keep moving forward.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this interview. I'm actually so grateful for you, and I'm like so happy that you do what you do, and you help entrepreneurs live life to the better, and more power to you. If you want to find him, you can find him on YouTube and his own social media, and he does reply. And yeah, he did actually. You actually replied to me so many times on Twitter, like 2 videos. That was surprising. I was
Okay.
like, well, yeah. But anyway, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like my video, and I'll see you next time. It's morphin time.